Hola mis queridos, ¿cómo estás, mi amo Alicia? Hello my kittens, how are you? My name is Allison, and today we are playing Murder, She Wrote, Book 3, A Garden to Die For. And today, we are actually finishing the book. I am so excited. I actually did not expect how it would end. I should have though, I should have. I mean, it's completely obvious. And I'm just saying that because I know why I didn't see it. There's no spiel about what the difference is between Collector's Edition and regular. I doubt there's a Collector's Edition for this, considering how rare this game is. Well, not rare, but it was just not publicized very well. And it's possible that Angela Lansbury was probably against it. She probably isn't even aware there's a video game, let alone a sequel to it. Anyway, the reason I brought up Angela Lansbury is because Murder, She Wrote, the video game, is actually based off a TV show of the same name. Now, the TV show is basically about... Actually, you know what? I think I have a description of it. Professional writer and amateur sleuth Jessica Fletcher, which is acted by Dame Angela Lansbury. Dame is basically a royalty-approved kind of thing. The Queen actually made her a dame. Uses her intellect, charm, and persistence to get to the bottom of every crime she encounters. Former high school English teacher and famed mystery writer, has a gift for solving mysteries. You see, it seems murder follows her around, whether it be to the houses of her seemingly endless number of friends, nieces, and nephews, or right in her hometown of Cabot Cove, Maine. Jessica is sometimes assisted by her friend, Dr. Seth Hazlitt, or the local sheriff, Amos Tupper, and Tupper's successor, Mort Metzger, which is the sheriff that we're witnessing in these books. And Mort Metzger is a former New York City cop. Sometimes, and later in the TV series, Jessica would only serve as a narrator. In later seasons, Jessica moved to Manhattan to teach criminology at Manhattan University. Now, I have yet to watch the entire series. I think I've only seen like certain episodes from certain seasons. I do know that there are 12 seasons, and there's at least 4 movies that have been made. I have yet to watch the movies as well, but I do plan on doing that whenever I have the time. Jeez. Because if I'm not editing or recording or even uploading, I am trying to clear out all the notifications and all the channels that I have that I'm subscribed to on YouTube. Oi, it's a nightmare. Anywho, Murder, She Wrote is also a book series. I think this happened when Murder, She Wrote got picked up, got more popular, more famous, and it's really cool because I actually have at least 2 or 3 of the books, and they're actually really good. I'm actually not sure if they're based off episodes from the show or if they're actual custom stories. And the funny thing is, the author of these books is Jessica Fletcher. No doubt they're ghostwriters for the books. I'm talking quite a bit, so let me go ahead and explain just a couple of things with this game. As far as options, there's the music, the sound that you can do. I have it on windowed to help me record. There's also relaxed and timed mode. With timed mode, you get 20 minutes for every hidden objects puzzle, and that's excluding the little mini game that's inside the hidden objects puzzle. And once you run out of time, you are immediately kicked out and you have to start that hidden objects puzzle all over again. Which, I mean, is not that bad, but if it took you that long to figure out how to do the hidden objects puzzle, I'm not gonna judge. Because I know it takes a long time for certain people. Some people. Sorry, not certain people. Some people. It's hard to not piss someone off. There's also a custom cursor. I prefer to keep it on because it blends well with the actual game. Ugh. There's also relax mode where you just don't have the time the counter on, which is fine by me. You take your leisurely time, go at whatever pace. What I find disappointing is that the only way to lower the volume on the voices is the music. I find that unfortunate, and it's a little inconvenient considering the music is a little louder than the actors who are in the game. I don't mind though. I don't mind. By the way, the music you're listening to is also the theme song from the show. Awesome. I do want to let you all know, though, that with these books, there might be some blood with the deaths that occur, the murders, I should say. Even though I'm not earning any money off this channel, even though I haven't even gotten the minimum requirements to get that monetization, I'm going to try to censor it as best I can. Also, this game, and quite a few others, well, few, there's dozens, who knows how many, there are certain scenes, scenarios, situations, conversations that have a psychological thing that can damage the mind, I should say. it's really not wise to play a video game with that kind of thing for any age, really. But in my opinion, it should not be played by anyone younger than 17, because it can not just damage their childhood, it can also damage the way they think, how they're grown up, how they're going to act as an adult. I'm not going to give any examples. I've been bringing this up in almost every single video in this series, and those examples are pretty much my experience. I keep talking way too much because my mind just deviates so much. Before we get into the books part menu, I want to mention, if anything in this video does not look familiar, it is because you have not been keeping up. Please check the description box below. There's the links that go to the previous video as well as the playlist. I recommend the playlist because it will have everything that I've done so far with Book 3, A Garden to Die For, and let's get into it. Now here, we actually get an option of 5 books. Well, it's not really an option. You gotta start from left to right. We've already done book 1 and book 2. You can check those out on my channel. There's actually a section on the main part of my channel for just Murder, She Wrote, because I know it's going to be hard to find if you're just looking for certain books of this game. So right now we're on book 3. The next one is going to be Secrets and Ashes. It just makes me think of the phrase, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Quite alarming. Is that red paint? Okay, so this feature I think is actually really neat. One, if you hit cancel, it'll just take you back to the book menu. Hit yes, you obviously continue the game. But if you hit no, that actually resets the entire book. I suggest not to do that unless you are willing to start all over from the beginning. I probably will eventually, just on my own time, because this game is so cool. Despite the repetitive of hidden objects. This is one of the reasons why I'm not a big fan of hidden objects games. Unless it has a story that can pull me in. And I'm kind of sounding like Godfather. In the previous video, we covered chapters 10 through 13. Kind of 13. We did start chapter 13. Anywho, let's cover it real quick. So we found out that Jack had a flyer for the garden competition, which we actually didn't know all the details about. Turns out that it's hosted by Humboldt Chemicals. There is a Humboldt, Maine. I do know there's a Humboldt, California, but there is a D in that city name. We also learned that Matthew once asked Jack to spy on Avery for him, but that he had refused. He also denied the gardening gloves were his and Carol to find out whom they belonged to. And Carol said it wasn't hers. She couldn't even remember who she sold the leather gloves to. I think if we had told her what kind of leather gloves they were, she probably would remember. And she didn't even find Avery's invoice yet, which is very frustrating. I mean, I understand that she's a busy woman, but you're supposed to have some sort of system here. You're supposed to have a system long before this garden competition rush happened. Seriously. She's still waiting for her mulch delivery, which is insane. Someone bought all of the mulch, probably the day of the competition. Seth caught up with me and delivered the news that Matthew was killed by ricin, which is made by castor beans. Castor beans is legal to use throughout the country except for California. Matthew was killed by ricin, probably introduced through small puncture wounds in his hand. The rose, most likely. I'm going to pay Thomas another visit to see if he can figure out whose rose was in Matthew's hand when he was killed. Turns out it was a Verona rose, and only Emily grows those flowers. And we did find one when we went to our place. While in his office, I happened across a letter, I think that's worded wrong, from Matthew to Thomas, in which Matthew threatened to have Thomas removed as president of the garden club. Ding ding ding, raising some question marks. Honestly, I never appreciated how seriously people took this competition. Woman, if you have been traveling around the country about garden competitions, you would know this. In fact, I think she does, and oh wait, no, that's a different series. If I ever find out what the name of the show is, I'm definitely putting it in captions to let you all know. Anyway, Emily says she was on the phone with her sister when Matthew was killed and doesn't have a source for the ricin. Emily seems to believe that the garden competition could have been rigged so that Avery wins every year. More paranoia? I don't think so this time. I also read an article about Thomas Pickering retiring from Humboldt Chemicals. That's right, background in chemistry. And that's basically where we're at. I'm actually really excited because we're going to be finishing this game, this book.
Okay, Mr. Pickering, level with us. How did Avery Donaldson really win first place in the garden competition year after year?
His garden is consistently the best. That's all there is to it.
Mm-hmm.
Thomas, what exactly did you do before you came to Cabot Cove?
I used to be a chemist.
Why
Where?
didn't you tell us that before?
I didn't think it was relevant.
Liar!
I'm afraid it is relevant, Thomas, since Matthew was murdered with ricin, a poison that was chemically extracted from castor beans.
Chemically.
And that's something you'd have the knowledge to accomplish.
True.
My work at Humboldt Chemicals is what got me interested in how chemistry could improve gardening. But it isn't a reason to suspect me of murder. Besides, I don't have access to castor beans.
He has a point.
Why is that a point? It shouldn't be that hard to find castor beans. Really? I mean, I guess I need to look it up to see if it is easy or not to find castor beans. How the heck is it hard to find it? Okay, so we need to examine locked box, check. What kind of check? Assorted books. Oh, so we're basically finding books all over the place. Got it. There's the hint recharge. Oi, oi, oi. Hoi, della hoi, della hoi, hoi, hoi. Yoink. We are basically looking for books all over the place. There's a book, there's a book, there's a book, there's a book. Oh, that's not a book. Bum ba bum ba bum ba dum. Bum 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 bum. Wop wop wow. Why is that not a book? That's a book. I forgot about that. What defines a book? There's a book. What defines a book? It's got pages, it's got numbers, it's got words to read. There's a book. There's a book. Strange, some of these books were piled up on that lovely little box. It's almost as if someone were trying to hide it. Oy. Select the tumblers to rotate the images to determine the correct combination to open the box. And oh boy, this is gonna take forever. So let's have a hint. Oh look, it actually tells us the answer. I'm serious, like, why would you give the answer in the hint? You should basically just give us like the first part of the solution and not the entire solution, because otherwise, bum bum, there we go, there we go, bum 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 bum, there we go. A check. Oh, a money check. That's what it meant. Thomas, a check for $5,000. If you had no special arrangements with Avery, why did he write you this check? $5,000. Wait, isn't that the amount you earn with getting first prize in the competition? It's payment for some work I did for him. Uh-huh. And what exactly did you do? I performed some tests to determine the acidity of Avery's garden soil so I could recommend a good chemical fertilizer. Why would you be doing that? Shouldn't Jack be doing that? That's worth $5,000. Why wouldn't Avery just ask Jack Delgado for advice? Well, Avery was afraid Jack might take it as a criticism of the work he'd been doing. Jack's been known to get violently angry if anyone ever questioned the quality of his work. Yeah, I understand that, but physically?
Maybe we better speak with Jack again. It seems he might be the one with the real temper, not Matthew.
Right? So, here's my question. My theory of Jack being framed, I think, is spot on. This looks highly suspicious, and I find it really hard to believe of Jack killing someone. So chapter 14, Thomas used to be a chemist but denies having access to the castor beans he would have needed to make ricin. I'm seriously looking this up. He insisted that Avery's garden was the best every year and denies any wrongdoing. I found a check from Avery to Thomas for $5,000, which Thomas claimed was for checking the acidity of his soil. Overpayment? He said Avery didn't ask Jack to do it because he was afraid Jack would get violent if Thomas questioned Jack's previous analysis of his soil. Yet another reference to Jack's apparently violent, volatile temper. Oi. Jack! Help us out, please.
Jack, did Thomas Pickering ever do any chemical work for Avery Donaldson that you know of?
Really?
Thomas doesn't do any work for anybody.
We know you were at both Matthew's and Emily's places the morning of the murder. You had the opportunity to grab one of Emily's roses to use as a murder weapon to kill Matthew over your unpaid bill. Or maybe because he criticized the work you'd done.
Come on, Sheriff. My skin's thicker than that. Besides, at the time Matthew was killed, I was dropping off 5 bags of mulch over at Avery's place.
5 bags? That's a lot of mulch, dude. There's a hint recharge. I don't think I need it this time. Wait, did I just find all the letters? Yeah, I did. Sweet. That's new. Okie day. Read the power of the lantern. What is this? Don't forget to buy more mulch. You get your mulch from Maine Coast Garden Supply? Yeah, the day before the garden competition I bought out every bag Carol had in stock so I could spruce up some of the competitors' beds. Sheriff, if Jack is telling the truth, then Avery lied about buying mulch at 11:30 the morning of the murder, because Jack bought out Carol's entire supply the day before. Exactly! This clears Jack, but not Avery. I wonder what he's gonna say. Ooh, gloves. While you were at Avery's, you could have left behind the leather gardening gloves you'd used to handle the poisoned rose to make Avery look guilty. The gloves you found at Avery's aren't mine. They're too small for me. He's right, Sheriff. And the same question that applied to Emily applies to Jack. Where would he have gotten the ricin? Oh my freaking gosh. Why is she insisting on that question? Gasoline, safety cone, wire cutter. We can actually click the wire cutter this time. Nice. Wrench. There is the fly swatter. Where do I find you? Bum 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 bum. Oh, okay.
Let's hope Carol's had some luck finding Avery's invoice so we can find out what he really bought that morning.
Right? And I keep forgetting to bring it up. That conversation that happens every chapter, there actually is a quicker way to skip the entire conversation besides that little button at the bottom that says skip. You can actually click on the dialogue that's currently on the screen, and that basically skips to the next dialogue. You can click that multiple times, even by accident. It happened to me, like, in one of the earlier books, and I'm like, okay, I gotta stop doing that. Jack didn't believe Thomas did any work for Avery to earn the $5,000. Bribery, perhaps? Mort accused Jack of the murder, but Jack claims he was at Avery's house dropping off mulch when Matthew was killed. As far as the gloves Avery gave me, Jack proved that they were not his by showing us they were too small for him. Jack said he bought out Carol's mulch supply the day before the murder, which means Avery apparently lied about his alibi. Am I talking too fast?
Carol, have you been able to find those invoices?
I haven't even had a chance to look. You're welcome to see if you can find them, though.
Here's my confusion. She says she's been busy because of the garden competition. The garden competition is already over. Why is she saying she has trouble finding the invoices if she's not that freaking busy? So confusing. Dim, 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 dim. What letter am I missing? E. There we go. Smash the birdhouse. Yep. Come on, smash it. And it cleared the hammer too. Sweet. What's this? According to this invoice, Avery paid for a special shipment of tropical plants. What I don't see is mulch. This confirms that Avery lied about what he bought here the morning that Matthew was murdered. Tropical plants. Any chance one of those include castor beans? He told you he bought mulch? He definitely lied about that. I distinctly remember I was out of mulch the day of the competition. Do you happen to remember if the order Avery picked up included any castor oil plants? Now that you mention it, it did. He had taken an interest in them lately, and had received several different varieties over the last few months. Interesting, the last few months? Then he's been plotting murder the whole time. Wow! Dude, really? Dun, 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 dun. Receipts? Looks like the leather gloves Avery found were purchased by Thomas Pickering. Oh yes, I'd forgotten all about that. Being short-handed during the peak of the gardening season has turned me into such a scatterbrain. Oh, gardening season. Got it. Okay. No smoking sign. Pulley. Where is that pulley? Right there. Got it. Umbrella, Ella, A, heart. Oh man, okay. I'm getting a little delirious. There's the brush. Gnome, where can I find these? The lantern. It's all over the place. Oh, why am I have such a hard time with these? It recharge. Give me right there. Right. Okay. I had trouble finding that last time. I don't know why I didn't remember.
Everything is starting to make sense, and I think I know who killed Matthew O'Neill. But there's one last thing I need to check out first.
Right? Wait, where's the sheriff? Where'd he go? Carol is still completely overwhelmed at the garden center, but I was able to locate Avery's invoice myself and learned that Avery didn't purchase mulch at all. What he actually bought were castor plants from Florida. Apparently he'd received several varieties over the past few months. I also found the invoice for the gardening gloves and discovered that Thomas Pickering had purchased them. My oh my, what a web we've weaved. Who
I just need to find the
really
proof
murdered
that
him?
my theory is correct. I'll just lend Avery a hand by taking down these leftover decorations for him and take a little look around the place while I'm at it.
Jessica really is just like Nancy Drew. She breaks the law. Not really supposed to be helping someone unless they've asked for it, right? Right. There's an recharge. Finding... We don't really need to find any of the letters, but wouldn't hurt, right? There's the other letter. There's I. I am Jose Jalapeno. I thought I picked that up. What? Nice. Give my heart to you. Interesting. There's something peculiar on the wall next to that crane I found. Oh boy, this puzzle is actually a little difficult. I'm not gonna look at the hints because I kind of already remember how it goes. Rearrange the tiles so that the tiles with touching sides have matching colors, which is pretty easy to do. And considering the green only has 3, it's pretty easy to tell that it goes right here. So I suppose that means this needs to be blue. There we go. Good boy. And good boy. Yeah. Ooh, let me guess. Castor beam plant. Boink. Ooh, cutscene.
Castor oil plants? I thought so.
Jessica, what are you doing here?
Confirming a theory, Avery, that the ricin that killed Matthew O'Neill was made from castor beans grown in your garden.
Dun dun dun.
You imported these plants from Florida specifically for that purpose.
That's preposterous. I have no idea how to make ricin from castor beans. Besides, you seem to have forgotten that I have an ironclad alibi courtesy of the Maine Coast Garden Center.
I know that. That's why you needed an accomplice, Thomas Pickering. Between his background as a former chemist and your access to the raw materials for ricin, you made a perfect team. And while you were busy establishing your alibi at the garden center, Thomas was delivering a ricin-tainted rose to Matthew O'Neill.
You're correct that Thomas and I were a team, but the only thing we're guilty of is rigging the garden contest.
Confirm.
My exotic plants need a staggering amount of fertilizers, pesticides, and other chemical help to thrive in a New England climate. So we struck up a little arrangement.
Yes, Thomas made sure you won the competition every year, ensuring you received a generous supply of Humboldt Chemical garden products. And in return, you gave him the cash part of the prize.
It was worth giving Thomas the $5,000 every year to maintain the scheme. Much richer prizes awaited me if my garden advanced to the New England regional competition and won there. But the arrangement never included murder.
Not true. I think Matthew became suspicious when you began winning the competition year after year. Suspicious enough to threaten to start an inquiry and have Thomas removed as president of the garden club. If that happened, your winning streak and everything that came with it would be over. That was your motive in silencing Matthew.
And Thomas? What was his motive?
Thomas didn't want to lose his position as president of the club, or his $5,000 annual bribe. Perhaps more importantly, he was afraid he would face censure, and possibly legal trouble, for fixing the competition. What I think happened the morning of the murder is that while you were establishing your alibi at the garden center, Thomas was making his rounds judging gardens. He went to Emily's garden first and took her shears and one of her roses with him when he left. Being careful to wear gloves, he painted the thorns with ricin. It takes only a minuscule amount to kill, and went next door to Matthew's garden. He left the rose for Matthew to pick up, knowing that the thorns would prick his hand and deliver the fatal poison. He also left behind Emily's garden shears to cast suspicion on her. Finally, Thomas went on to judge your garden and left his gloves here so no one else in the competition would see him with them.
That wasn't part of the plan. I didn't know who those gloves belonged to. Thomas thought the whole thing up and threatened to expose me as a fraud if I didn't go along with it.
Sure.
That's enough, Avery. I figured you would panic and sell me out. That's why I need to silence you. And now that you figured everything out, Jessica, I'm afraid you will have to go too.
Wow.
Hold it right there, Pickering. Put that gun on the ground, slowly.
Did you hear it all?
Everything. More than enough to put both Thomas and Avery away for a very long time.
I guess this whole matter just proves the old saying, you reap what you sow.
That's actually a gardening pun, if you don't know. Completion time, 36 minutes. Doubt that. Oh, it's referring to this session. It's not doing the completion time for the entire game, just a session. Interesting. I wish they would show all sessions. All sessions completion time. That would be helpful. Typewriter keys found. Nice. Typewriter ribbons found. So I needed 8 hints to help us out. Oh no, 20 hints. Typewriter ribbons were the recharge. Got it. Oh, so I used 8 recharges to use the hints. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. 8 times 2 is 18. 2 of them were legit ones where I didn't use the typewriter ribbons. Interesting. Well, we got that. I'm actually interested. I kind of want to create a 3rd profile so we can check out the 4th book. Oh wait, no, I don't need to do that. I can just hit no when okay. Yeah, let's check it out. Let's check the introduction for the Secrets and Ashes. By the way, everyone, if I didn't upload it on Friday, I'm going to say it here. There is a thing going on in July where I'm going to be at my mom's for a couple of days. Anyway, let's check out... Whoa! Oh, counterfeit. Interesting.
Next item on the agenda, the purchase of the Gander property next door.
As you know, my sister Susan, who owned the house next door, has been missing for 2 years now.
What?
I know that the library has been looking to expand its children's section.
Vern has offered to sell us the property for substantially less than its assessed value.
I still think that the money would be better spent on a new roof.
Let's take a vote. All in favor of purchasing the Gander property?
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
The motion passes.
Still, I'd give anything to know what happened to her. I know the answer's in her house somewhere, but I'm running out of time before the place is demolished.
But I'm not making any promises about finding any answers.
Susan used to talk about some treasure she had hidden in her house. I chalked it up to her paranoid delusions, but you might want to keep that in mind. Feel free to drop by my hardware store if you come up with anything.
Dude! Oh my gosh! Guys, this is definitely interesting! Oh my gosh, that is crazy. I look forward to... That is cool. Alright, well, considering how long that intro was, I think I'm just gonna do a snippet of it. Probably like the beginning and the end of it. I don't know, we'll see. Anywho, I've been recording for quite some time. This is gonna be one long video, I can tell you that. The Secrets and Ashes. So maybe I was wrong. Maybe it's not about counterfeit money. Maybe it's about... You know what? I'm betting his sister's not dead. I'm betting she's still alive, and she's just hiding out because she's afraid that she will be dead if she's found. Something must have happened to make her scared. Either that or she was put in a situation... You know what? I'm theorizing. I'm already theorizing. I gotta stop that. Anyway, I gotta get going, everyone. It is getting pretty late, and I have a lot of stuff to do. So, I will bid you all adieu. I hope you all enjoyed this video as much as I did. And I will talk to you all in the next video, which will be Nancy Drew, Silent Spy. So look forward for that book to be over. Or sorry, that game. Not a big fan of Silent Spy. I keep saying that. And on that note, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If so, smash that like button like a katana would. And if you're just now tuning into this channel, go ahead and click that ugly red subscribe button. That's beautiful gray, as well as the bell icon right next to it. That'll notify you of all the videos that I do, which are on Tuesdays and Thursdays and Sundays, rarely Fridays. And I hope you all have a great morning, afternoon, evening, or night, wherever you are in the world. I am Sweet Fresky Rabbit's Fun World, saying goodbye. Stay awesome and stay on YouTube! My oh my. I actually do want to go ahead and play that fourth book.